There is a curse that I've been under that I plan to put a stop to today. Volume's all out of whack because I was in grind mode earlier. That should do it. So, I've been grinding for 6 hours. I have about 100 more HP across the board. I have, I don't know, 10, 15 more points per person across the board. And everybody has at least a couple more weapon ranks, some more than others. This is all I can do. Like, this is the most I'm ever gonna get, because ever since I hit 850 on the first floor and 900 on Elephant, I've never gotten an HP gain that was more than 1 from enemies in the Abyss. So I am pretty sure that just the rank of enemies you fight in the Abyss cannot get any higher. So this is it. This is what I have. This is all I'm ever gonna have. It has to work. So, tonight might be really short. I might just win. It might just give me everything I need to pass. Tonight might be very, very long. But I'm gonna put my best in, see what I get, you know? Nope, nothing else to do but just go in there. The game plan is mostly unchanged. Yeah, net this, you jerk. I think Blade Net doesn't actually count as a net type move, technically. I think it's a multi-attack. Dang, double drain. He's just doing all of the suck today. Don't mind that. Stay with me, Shadow Servant. I need you. Oh, that's gonna break it, probably. That's gonna break it more, probably. Well, to heck with that turn. She sure wasted her time with that. I don't know, I might be wrong. Might still get the Shadow Servant in there. Hey! We do get it. Fancy. Here comes the Eclipse. Of course, it's right after he does 2 AoEs in the same turn, but, you know. I've come to accept that he's always going to do the absolute worst thing every round. My primary question is, will we be graced with a miracle? And that miracle is, the boss can actually switch back to the other phase. And if it does, it heals your whole party. I expect nothing, but there's a chance it can happen. And if it happens, there's a chance I might be not totally hecked. Speaking of being totally hacked. This is looking like another Abyss Wind. Which, if that happens, it might just be over. Humiliating. That's one. So this time around, the strat is don't spend 3 turns buffing up, and just don't even pretend that's ever gonna matter, and just do damage. Thanks, Boston. Thank you. No, thank you. I'm guessing this is going to be when phase switch happens. Thanks, Boston. Still no switch. That's kinda really bad. Only mildly related, but you know what I learned also about the Abyss field effect when he goes into Dark Phase? All healing is halved. So it's like, yeah, I can do all these great, you know, heals for 400 and stuff. It doesn't matter when it's in the phase where actually doing healing is a big deal. Here we go. Here's where it all turns bad, once again. Don't do that. Just anything it takes. And spend the entire turn just to make sure I do less damage. You heck lord. Rude. Like, I have 3 people that instant kill is not going to work on. And you still pick one of the ones that not. Oh, okay. I'll accept that. That's rude, though. Hey. Still no phase change or you're almost done message. How? What do I have to do? What do I not have? Well, Elephant's gonna murder the heck out of himself again. If he's allowed to have the chance. I mean... Okay. That was extremely weird, but I'll take it. Dude. Back in Mirror Egg twice in a row. Just don't knock her over, please. Just let me get the Shatter Staff. Message? Phase change? Anything? No? Why? Another mirror! And a charm. Great. Now you heal the boss because you're charmed. For Cap. You continue bullying the fairy because Mirror. Hopefully that cancels your charmed action. Seems to have. Doesn't help that I'm at the end of my rope. Please phase change back. Just let me have that. No, of course not. Please give me some kind of mercy. Oh, okay. Battle is almost over message. Do you know what that actually means? Battle is almost over message means it's always going to stay in dark phase, which means I never got a switch to light, which means I never got Mercy Heal. Well, okay. I guess. Can't mirror me when everybody's dead, dingus. I'm just doing anything I can to get anybody that can do damage up. Oh, good. Well, this is ripping. What are you gonna do? Yeah, great. Thank you. I don't know when I healed her. She doesn't have any points left. And Abyss Ring. That's gonna be it. Spark Round Slicer? That's all I got. Thanks. He just got up. You can't target him. It's not legal. Come on, just do anything. This is it. This is the end of my rope. Just keep doing stuff. Darn it. $1 million? Finish? Do it? Fairy solo? Oh my god. This is the worst fight ever designed. Like, straight up, there is a 0% chance that the final boss of Frontier 2 can possibly be half as terrible as this. I'm saying that with absolute confidence. Thanks, Boston. Still just taking so much of its sweet time doing the phase change. And the only reason is so that when it takes its sweet time doing the phase change back, it'll just never get there. There exists a mercy mechanic in this fight. It's there. I've seen it. I've seen it happen twice in a single attempt from somebody else. But it just won't do it for me. Just keep delaying. Just keep delaying. Good. You can just decide to take a third turn, at random. I would rather you did it all the time, so that I could at least compensate for the possibility. Oh, okay, just take a fourth action, sure. RNG, number of actions per turn, also great. This is exactly the kind of turn it's going to follow up with a phase switch, so I also take abyss damage. Like that. That was what, 5-6 turns for the phase switch? There's no chance I'm gonna make it back to the other phase. 0% chance. Just gotta deal with what I have and fail. We've got an Abyss Wind coming. Because that's something you should follow up with a turn where you deal 3 actions of AoE damage, right? I'm glad I decided to use the Shatter Staff. And how terrible is the follow-up gonna be? Yeah, that's pretty awful. Thank you. Is this another Abyss Wind? This is another Abyss Wind. We're just going all in on unrecoverable swarm of crap. follow-up? How terrible. Damn, that's pretty god-awful. Thank you. Everybody's in critical except the one, and the only one that's down is the one that has the other staff to shatter. Like, I don't know, were they having a design contest for, like, who can come up with the worst possible boss? And then some random 10-year-old said, let's just throw all this crap in there, and they're like, yeah, this sounds perfect. You win. Is this an Abyss Wind? I think this is an Abyss Wind. Great, thank you. That's what, 3 this fight? Of the worst attack you can possibly use? Sweet. Thank you. Phase switch? Oh. Nearing the end message. Good thing I'm prepared to deal with that. Spoilers, I'm not. Alright, let's just keep going. This is kind of okay. This isn't great, but it's kind of okay. I think he's preparing an abyss when it's gotta be. Good thing I made sure everybody was up so that we could all eat the damage. Please let me, like, stabilize some of my people a little bit and have them be in that position after this turn is over. This way, thank you. Never mind, I have nothing. It's another Abyss Wind. Cool. Mirror him and then don't even give him the chance to you know, murder himself. Like, that's really the thing. It's all random. There's no determination, there's no, like, there's not any counterplay. You just desperately try to keep it stable and just watch as it all falls apart because there's nothing to stabilize against because you never know what's going to happen. You just have to keep throwing darts at the dartboard. When the dartboard has no bullseye, it's made out of linoleum, you're using pointed darts and it's spinning. Sorry, I told myself, you know, I have to get this fight over with. It's not going to beat itself. At some point or another, has to happen. So I've put 6 hours into grinding to try to, you know, match the difference at least a little bit. And I do feel like I'm consistently getting further into the fight. But I just need things to line up. I just need anything to line up. Yeah, I've found that a lot of spells don't seem to affect Shadow Servant. It was mostly physical contact stuff that breaks it. That might be confirmation bias, it might just be that it breaks on a certain amount of damage and it's just always happened to be because of a physical hit, but that's at least how it has seemed. Can I get an early first switch, please? And can I not get stunned? Question what I should even do right now. I absolutely want to make sure you get cleansed, but I also really wanted to get some healing rolled out. Good. Well, here's the problem with grinding HP. I've reached the point where every single time I gain HP, it's only 1. That happened at 850 for most people and 900 for Elephant. Which is why I'm many points above that, but not supremely. So that's like 10 to 13 gains for everybody past that breakpoint where it was never more than 1. I don't have that much patience. Please do more of the 2 things that I can possibly evade. It's like I would have to get literally 150 more stat gains to get cap on people. That's not gonna happen. And I still don't know why it's taking so long to do a phase switch. I just want quick phase changes. One time, I want a quick phase change. Hello, Kevin. I was just bemoaning my bad luck and how often this thing is just consistently giving me the longest phases possible to make sure I never get the mercy heal. HP is pretty bad, but not... I absolutely have to Shatter a Staff to remain stable bad. Of course. There goes 2/3 of my damage for the round. Teasing Whisper is a chance to charm. Yeah, because this fight didn't have enough disabling status. 2,000 damage. You had to pick the one person you could pick that wouldn't be immune to that. Great. Great follow-up. You butthole. Like, he manages a 1 out of 4 instant kill by picking the only living person that can possibly be affected by it. And then immediately follows that up with the thing that only works on somebody that's dead. He knew. If it had been anybody else on that first thing, his turn would have been a waste and I would have been, you know, kind of okay for a second. Here we go with this. So much for everything I was planning on doing this round. Good. Got the worst possible mess to get on her. That's why we have these. So I actually was kind of thinking there is a small chance that I might have actually figured out what's going on with the phase changes. There is a non-zero possibility that I have at least kind of gained some small bit of understanding. We are all squish bags. We all have the absolute most HP we could possibly have, and we just splatter. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna reset right now because this is going nowhere, and I'm gonna try something. Because, I had a thought. You remember that fight you had where it just kept changing phase over and over again? And it was like, why is it being so ridiculously kind to you? You know what you did that I haven't been doing? You were using a lot of moon magic. Think about it. This fight is all about light and dark. One of the main dualities in magic in this game is sun and moon. Do I sound crazy right now, or does it sound like using sun and moon magic in the opposing phases makes them change quicker? And to boot, the other 4 phases you can remove from this fight have to do with the other 4 elements. The air, wind, fire, and water. So this phase and the other phase constitute light and dark, or sun and moon. And it's an eclipse, which is when the sun and the moon collide. Not literally, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, if this fight was actually some kind of crazy, like, galaxy brain crap going on the whole time, I'm not gonna think it's any better. But I'll at least be glad that I figured out how to game it. So this phase hasn't been speeding up at all. This is in line with my thoughts right now. Because I think it's same element that is effective. You know, use sun during the light phase, use moon during the dark phase. In fact, though nothing to speed it up, I should probably change this turn. But it's okay, because this isn't the phase that I want it to be fast. Still no change? Maybe I'm actively prolonging this by using lots of moon magic. Okay, we're eclipsing. Now what happens if I stick to a lot of moon magic here? Rude. Well, so much for using moon magic. Definitely doing another Abyss Wind, I think. Nope. I forgot. Because I have Moonglow on people, they're actually faster. It's not to say that they can necessarily be described as fast. Like, Elephant is going to be the slowest no matter what. But at least according to the spell descriptions, Moonglow is magic defense, Moonglow is magic defense and speed. So it says. Boston is immune to mirror, for whatever reason. Like, the avoidable part, he absolutely can and will avoid. Right! It happened! I figured it out! I solved it! I solved the whole thing! If I had a Sun Mage, I could use lots of Sun Magic during this to force it back into Dark, and then I could use Moon Magic to force it back into Light. That's what's going on here! This is ridiculous. It worked! I went back to light! This is... terrible. I just started using moonshine instead of life water, and there you go. Thank you for the resub. I think I've done it. This isn't going to guarantee that I'll be in a good state when it gets to the end part, which is always going to be dark, but... I think I solved the fight. Probably... I would have to say the boss definitely has 65,000 health, and it's probably a quarter of that. So more like 16k. Is that message? That might be message. So if I remember from the time you won, it always forced to dark as soon as the message happened. Message? Message. This is it. We're all here. We're all alive. We're relatively okay. Just don't mirror me. Wang Punch, that's fine. Not great, but I'll accept it. Yeah, Kevin just picked it up offhandedly in the middle of stream to show me how badly it kept getting ruined, and then he just one-shotted it. It's like... I'm thankful for that. And you taught me exactly what I needed to know, inadvertently, but you did. Are you abyss winding? Are you gonna let me do all the damage? Are you just gonna give this to me? No. Don't knock me down. Thank you. Go down? No, heck. Nobody can do anything. Keep Monica rolling. Trim! Give him the trim! Trim is still the most damaging thing he has, by the way. That's it. That's it! I hate this boss. I hate that it has a random, completely unexplained gimmick that basically nobody in the entire history of the world knows about at all. It still blows everything up. He still destroys the world. Goodbye anyway, Galaxy. Nothing mattered, I guess. Goodbye, paper map that has nothing to do with the fact that the world just got destroyed. But at least it doesn't just go to black. It does continue. Why do there have to be another gimmick on top of everything? There's like 8 individual gimmicks in that fight. Yeah. This is really fancy. Like, this is the thing that... Like, the big thing for Romancing Saga 3, the presentation was always super cool for everything that they put considerable work into. Really fancy stuff. Okay, so her ending message is, how about you marry into a relationship for political reasons, you dingus? Yeah, you make sure that thing is closed up for good. Yeah, I've heard that Paul is a character that exists. That's about it. I haven't heard about him in the game, but I sure looked at sites that told me he was a character that exists. Okay. So you're Robin and Fat Robin, and not even each other know the truth. That's pretty neat. Yes, I decided Gwaine was such a cool thing to ride into battle on that I wasn't going to go back in and kill it. Gwaine doesn't deserve that. Lobsters don't deserve that. Lobsters deserve to live too. The lobsters deserve to do a pinch, and that's exactly what it did on the last turn of the winning attempt. That's all I could really ask for. I was hoping it would finish it off, but I'll take that. And to answer Elephant's question, no, he does not turn back, apparently. I mean, he asked it like 20 times. It's good he got some kind of closure. But, you know, probably not the closure he wanted. You know, the fairy village was full of jerks, but it was one of the most interesting places, like, that was out there. You know, like, the actual doing the jungle thing with the butterflies wasn't cool, but just the fairy village, you actually had to do a lot of, like, playing around not falling down and finding the right ways around, and that's not something that actually happened a lot in this game. The spear is back. You even get your own poem. Your own epic tale, I guess. .36 sword. I think only one person got to touch 40. .34 and .26. I just beat it. It was... I thought everything was just like the worst RNG in the world, and it was always just giving me the absolute worst of every time. But no, there's actually a trick to it. And I just kind of randomly pieced it together with no actual feedback whatsoever, other than somebody else's attempt compared to my attempt. And it's like, wait, is that actually a thing? And then that was the thing. And you, why are you even here? I wanted to have a snowman on this boat, and you had to replace him. pretty cool. It shows everybody all their stats, kind of like a FF5 sort of thing. Z slash. Is that like a... Is that a Robin exclusive thing, or is that a weapon thing, or is that just a sword thing that's there that I didn't use because I didn't use swords? Oh, okay. So it's just a normal thing that I just didn't use because I wasn't using those weapons. Gotcha. Was that the Earth Crescent I spent like 50% of the game trying to spark? There's a round slicer. So, fun fact about round slicer. During one of the previous stream, I eventually conceded and went back to my before endgame file and went out to fight Ashura's. And I sparked round slicer. And I was like, wow, I'm so glad I got that. And what I was doing was I was going in there, I was trying to use things that would spark stuff until I had to leave. Because of dying. And then instead of running away and dealing with having all that TP lost, I would just soft reset. So I was like, wow, I actually sparked something. I need to make sure I keep that. And then I was in such a mentality to be doing soft resets that I soft reset myself out of round slicer. Not that it mattered, because I didn't keep that stuff. But yeah, I was thinking, oh, I got the thing, I need to get out of this fight. But I was too used to hitting soft reset buttons instead of run command. That's fancy. I want that one. Herman, why is your hair changed color? There's the meteor stab, I think, that I was trying to get. No, nobody should ever fight the true destroyer, even if you know how to mess with it. Do not. From my understanding, the main problem is you can't get enough TP to be consistently doing good damage that whole time, because it has so much more health. Well, isn't this familiar? Get dunked. That's kind of cute that they actually played out the actual last action of your actual setup and everything. It's over! The curse is broken! Oh dear. That fight was so unhappy. It was a lot easier once I realized how to cheese it, but boy, that is not a good boss. So, okay. As for the game as a whole, okay, I need to be fair. The game as a whole has some really good flair. Like, presentation stuff is all really cool. A lot of the texts, especially later on, are really fancy. You know, the enemies look really good, the areas look really good, the music is fantastic. But, like, the game in itself, like, the content of the game, I didn't like it. I didn't like much of it at all. Like, there were a couple areas that were, hey, this is actually pretty neat conceptually. And then there were a lot of areas that are like, well, this exists. This is a thing that I can go through and power up my characters more on my way around. And then there were like, I don't know, probably somewhere between 4 and 6 things, like entire areas that were just as a whole really bad. Like the entire rat poison thing. The big, like, cultist tower thing, that wasn't fun. That was just, you get confused because you see stuff you can't reach on your way up like a 20-story tower. Then you get to the top, and then it's like, oh, you go back down, and then you're in the other side to get to all the stuff you couldn't see before. It was cool when they did the, like, slowly removing members of your party with traps and stuff. That was neat. It was neat to have to, you know, engage the boss at the end alone and then have your characters catch up as you're fighting. That was cool. But the place was just so long and uninspired and not exciting at all. Then you have, like, the jungle. That's not a very good gimmick. It makes kind of sense. Like, they tell you what kind of butterflies are the right way, and then you know, take every transition that happens to have that one at it, even if it doesn't make sense and you're not actually going anywhere. But, you know, that was how it worked, and you don't actually have to think about it, but it is possible to get through it if you just, like, you can just go back and forth through the same transition, because every map that has butterflies has a random set of butterflies at each exit. So if you just keep going back and forth through the same one, you'll eventually go through one that has the right color of butterflies enough times to trigger the exit. But anyway, I don't know, that area was just not great. It was neat getting around it. Like, if it was just an area to traverse, it would be pretty neat, because, you know, there's a lot of, like, side paths and places where it loops around and stuff. If it was just a place that you went through, it would be neat. But the butterfly thing makes it not fun to figure out how to get to the next part. And for the most part, the Kawazu triggers, you know, you have to talk to that person to cause this thing way over here to happen, and then that makes this work, and then you have to somehow infer that makes all these other things change, and, you know, stuff like that. This game is mired up with so many, like, small dings of that kind of stuff that it was always just kind of annoying trying to get to new places and do new things. Like, triggering the next part of whatever thing, it's always a toss-up, and if I didn't have somebody that knew or have a guide to look up, it would have been terrible. I would have been on this game for like 200 hours, and then I would be able to win by merit of having grinded in places I didn't need to be for long enough. I don't think I ever could have beaten this game if I didn't have, like, guides and stuff, because the Abyss Gate stuff, especially the water one, is just too weird. Like, there are too many things that are just a little too weird to naturally infer what to do. They come up consistently enough and they're obstructive enough that it's just distracting to the concept of just going into the game and trying to enjoy it. But I don't know, it's a lot of stuff like that. Like, some things just happen naturally, it's neat, it's cool, it works, and it's great. But that's like at most 40% of the things. Like, more than half of the game is weird stuff you have to infer backward logic, weird Kawazu things to be able to do. That's the big difference between this game and Legend of Mana. Okay, Legend of Mana has Kawazu triggers absolutely everywhere. But there is a succinct and clear path to be able to clear the game that doesn't require anything weird. It's the shortest and most straightforward of the major quest chains, but it's there. It's something you can do. Like, the first several times I beat Legend of Mana as a kid, I didn't even know that there were other main stories. I thought it was just you do stuff and then, well, I don't know. I'm just referring to it as a concept, like things that start or continue or link together in ways that don't make sense. Like, well, I shouldn't necessarily just say don't make sense, but they're just like, they're weird and out of left field and easy to get locked out of. Like, I can think of half a dozen quests off the top of my head that are just extremely obscure to get into and finish. But, you know, that's just like a big comparison point for me. Like, when you're going to have a game that has a lot of weird stuff like that, like things that are weird to figure out how to start them or how to continue them or how to finish them, you have to have a way through the game that doesn't require that. But basically all of the Abyss Gate quests are way too weird to just naturally infer. Like, the desert thing. Like, the way you spawn in the desert makes it extremely unclear that going to the left is going to do anything. But going to the left is the only way that there's anything to the right afterward. Because you have to go left in the desert to find the base of the tower thing. And if you don't talk to the people at the base of the tower thing, you won't know that there's the dry river off on the right part of the desert. And if you don't know that, the desert just goes infinitely to the right with no feedback. And that's weird. That doesn't make sense. It's like you start on the left side of a desert map, facing to the right. Who in their right mind is going to think, if I go to the left, I'm going to find something? No, they're going to think, I just came in from the left. I need to go right. I think the person that first tells you about the desert and where the thing is says go west, and that would be like the only clue you had. But if you didn't like uncover that and immediately go do it, you wouldn't have that context in your mind anymore. You wouldn't think, oh right, I'm in the desert, I need to go west, even though it makes no sense that the left would do anything. I should go left. Anyway, I'm well beyond rambling at this point. I think people understand what I mean. Like, the base experience of going through an area in the game is usually fine, but getting to and figuring out how to trigger the places and the things is just not very fun. And that kind of like dings the experience hard enough that like the main part of the game is just kind of, it's neat, but it smells bad, you know? And then you get to the end game and everything is absolutely awful, and any respect I had for the presentation up to this point went out the window. But anyway, they did technically give me at least most of the tools to complete the end game in the end game area. I will give them that. Yeah, that is pretty true. I think the best SaGa, just for like being conducive to just play and get through and know what you're doing at each point, Final Fantasy Legend 2. That game has a very like clear sequence of areas to go through. It's a linear game, and that makes it so much better to get through in my mind. Because the worst thing that happens is you try to go to the next world, it says you don't have enough magi, so I guess I'm gonna go back and look for stuff. And then you find the stuff. Yeah, Arsenal is kind of an arse, but you know. Like, the main problem with Arsenal is it's so far into a point of no return. It's the same kind of thing as like this, where like you feel like you're so invested because it's been so long since you've been able to go places and do things, that if you don't have what you need to win, you probably aren't going to win. So if you don't have a save that far back, you might be screwed and have to start over. Because you have to have a heal staff to win that fight. There's no way you can just damage race through that without some kind of party-wide massive healing like that would give you. It's like, theoretically, I guess it's possible, but incredibly unlikely. Yeah, Titania helps. The fact that you can get to some of the some monsters that are exclusive to that tier of content in the game. But even then, that's if you manage to get a rare drop of meat from one of the mini bosses on the way down to the bottom. Which, I mean, I guess, you know, it's one of those things that if you know it's going to happen, you're okay with it and you can do it. And I know full well that I am pretty biased toward games that I already know how to play compared to ones that I'm blind on the pitfalls of. I fully admit that I have pretty high pre-existing knowledge bias for a series that pre-existing knowledge changes everything. I fully admit that and acknowledge that, but I also can't really just turn that off. Like, if I did RS3 3 times, I would be great at it by then, and I would probably like it a lot more. But just the position I'm in right now and the position the game is in right now, I really don't. I just kind of don't. It's kind of unfortunate because I know it's a really good game. I know a lot of people really like this, and like the presentation is great. The graphics and music are great. There are a lot of things that are really good, but it's just kind of mired up in you either have a guide or you're done. Like, you're just going to be lost forever. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I'm rambling at this point. It's been half an hour since I beat the boss. I should probably get going. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I'm glad that I did this. I'm glad that I stuck it out and figured out how to make the boss work and get it done with and all that. I know I've been like really hard up on just going on and on about all the problems I had with the game, and I'll be over it. But yeah, I'm gonna get going. As always, I want to thank everybody for coming out. It was nice to have people around to experience that with me. I felt really good, finally making it happen and all that. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, I guess, with more getting back into Frontier. I'll probably get near the end, but not ready to finish. And then Wednesday, I'll probably finish. But yeah, I hope to see everybody out, or I hope to see you guys out for then. It's always a welcome sight and all that. But yeah, thanks for coming out, and have a nice evening.